Hey guys, it's Turbo, and today we're going to be taking a look at CSGO skins that probably shouldn't even exist. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Geez, Turbo, another one of these videos? Well, here's the thing. This right here is the Deagle Heirloom, which basically looks like a default Deagle with a couple things on it, but that's about it. And then we have the Desert Eagle Pilot, which is a very similar design, except the grip is a little bit different and there's a little bit of gold. But when you compare the prices though, yeah, not worth it. And also we have a part 2 to this video, so keep watching and make sure to like the video, that and commenting. The most sus skin from the video tells YouTube to send the video to more people, which means big things in the future. Appreciate all of you guys. Let's go. And now we have the MP9 Orange Peel, which is a nice cheap MP9 skin, but for about a third of the price, you can also get the MP9 Slide, which basically looks like it's missing about a third of the paint, which is kind of weird. They just look so similar, and personally, I think the Orange Peel looks way better. Here we have the really cheap P90 Traction for 86 cents, and then of course there's the Astral Jormungandr, which is $335 in comparison. There is one reason why the Astral Jormungandr is so much, and that's because you can trade it up for a Mjolnir and then a Gungnir, but there are much better value P90s, like obviously the Traction, the Module, as well as the Off-World. So if you want to get a blue P90 without selling your kidneys, then there are some options. Another example is the PP Bazone Facility Sketch for 6 cents. And then when you compare it to the Bamboo Print, which looks almost identical, I mean, obviously there are some minor differences, but it's the same kind of general look. Incoming trade offer. Do you want this skin for 6 cents, or do you want to pay over 60 times more for this one? The choice is yours. Do you want to accept or decline this trade offer? And of course, you know what, I had to throw the AK Cartel into here because look at it. It looks so similar to the default AK, which is literally free. You don't have to pay anything. The only difference is a little bit of engraving, but that's about it. Next up from the Bravo collection, we have the Mac 10 Graven, which kind of looks like a gold Mac 10 with kind of a design on the side, but it looks really old and it looks really rusty. And then when you compare it to the Mac 10 Gold Brick, which is exactly the same price, in my opinion, I think this looks way cooler because, I mean, it's basically just a gold Mac 10, which is pretty sick, and it does look pristine. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I think the Gold Brick does look better. Now we have the Galil Sage Spray, which kind of looks like it has like a burnt forest kind of look to it. I don't really know how to describe it. But when we go to compare it to the Galil Winter Forest, it's a very similar design, obviously, but the Winter Forest is more Arctic camo, but it's also way more expensive. Now we have the Krieg Atlas, which is essentially just a green kind of military looking camo skin, basically, and it's really cheap. But for significantly more, you can also get another green Krieg, which is the Gator Mesh, which essentially looks like it's wrapped in an alligator, but it still kind of serves the same purpose. It's basically just, oh, this is camouflage. Ooh, in my opinion, not worth it. Now we have one of the most extreme examples. This is the Op Safari Mesh, and it's a fairly relatively low price for factory new, of course. But when you compare it to another skin that is very similar and it came out around the same time, the Snake Camo, oh my god, the Snake Camo is so much more expensive and it doesn't really look that much better. Sure, there's some slight differences, but for the most part, they're very comparable skins. If you're looking for a blue Scout, the Abyss is actually a pretty solid option depending on the pattern. Like this is one that I found that has quite a bit of blue on both sides, which is really nice. But then we just have the Tropical Storm, which kind of has like the same bluish aesthetic, but this one is so expensive in comparison. And obviously there are some big differences, like this one actually has some palm trees in it. But let's take a look at another skin that is supposed to be blue. The Blue Spruce, which doesn't even have any blue. That is green. How could you call a skin that is green a Blue Spruce? It doesn't make any sense. With all that being said, that's the end of part 1 of the video. Now we have part 2 that was actually helped made by you guys. So thank you to everyone who left a comment on the community post. By the way, guys, make sure to join the Discord server if you haven't already, because I want to put on some big events in the future with some nice prizes, but I can't do it without your help. So Discord link in the description. Stay active, join our community, and yes, very nice. This may hurt some people, but in my opinion, the Neon Revolution at the time of drop was very high priced for a vanilla AK with a minuscule amount of pink and green spray paint. Changed my mind. To be honest, I actually kind of agree with that because I mean, it literally just is a default AK with some spray paint over it. And it does look kind of cool. It looks like something that the Joker would use in the DC cinematic universe. But overall, I think with a couple minor changes, it could be so much better. You watching the video right now, what do you think? Op Fade, low effort, high price. I absolutely agree because they literally just took a default op, and not even a default op, just an op with nothing on it, applied a fade to just one part of it, and that's it. There's just so many parts of the op that just don't have anything on them. And I feel like it could be massively improved if, like, you know, they took the barrel, painted it white or something. I mean, it doesn't really matter what color. It could even be the fade pattern. And same with the scope as well. If the scope also had a fade pattern, Like, it would look so nice, but instead, this is what we got. Expectations versus reality. Valve, please fix Fire Serpent. Not really fond of Fire Serpent. There are a lot of people out there that think the Fire Serpent is absolutely ugly. When you really break it down, it's a default AK with just a little bit of paint on top. It's very similar to the Neon Revolution in terms of how they actually made it. And in my opinion, I think it does look very vanilla, and considering it has such an insanely high price, I mean, for minimal wear non-stat track, it's like $1,100. And then I presume that for stat track factory new, it's like maybe close to 10,000 at this point. But I mean, sure, it is an old skin from a really expensive case, but in my opinion, the price doesn't really justify the look. Like, it doesn't really look good enough to be that expensive. Dubs said Desert Hydra is meh. It was kind of a waste of a red operation skin. To be honest, I'm gonna have to disagree with this one because in my opinion, I think the Desert Hydra looks really good. On the exterior of the skin, like on the scope, on the barrel, on the stock, on all that stuff, you have this cool white paint that has like some engravings in it, kind of. I don't really know if they're engravings, but overall it looks pretty decent. And it really helps accentuate the middle of the skin, which has the multiple hydras, has that cool orange, little bit of pearlescence to it, but not a crazy amount. And in my opinion, this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Dragon Lore, but in my opinion, it is much, much, much better. Like, it looks so much cooler. The design is overall much more well thought through, and the colors are just more appealing in my opinion. But I don't know, maybe I'm just a weirdo. Bro, the Elite Museo is so ugly. Sure, it's abstract art, but I look at it more of an abstract chart that CS took. What a savage comment. Oh yeah, and absolutely, the Elite Museo is a very divisive skin because, I mean, it does have a lot of colors, and obviously it is a skin that's based on abstract art, but it's not really a skin that was designed for everyone. It's just for a select few. And obviously there are some aspects of it that do kind of look cool, like obviously all the Easter eggs, you have the chickens, the green characters. Other than that though, there's just so much stuff happening. It's almost like sensory overload. Unpopular opinion, all Asimov skins are ugly. It is true what they say, art is subjective, and people who don't really like the color orange, they're not really going to be the biggest fan of the Op Asimov or any of the Asimov skins. And I guess that's the beauty of the whole CSGO skin system. Even if there is some skins that you think are ugly, there are so many alternatives. I like the D-Lore, but I don't think it should be 8K in factory new. The Prince looks way better and it's 3 to 4K in factory new. Honestly, yeah, I do kind of agree. The Dragon Lore doesn't really look like a skin that should be over $10,000. I mean, it is cool and it is an iconic skin, but I guess the only reason why it went up so much was because they stopped dropping, and now because there's not as many out there and there's a lot of demand for them, people are buying them, causing the prices to rise. And honestly, it's gotten a little out of control. Like, I remember when a factory new Dragon Lore was $1,500, and now it's like, well, not quite 10 times more, but it's like 7 to 8 times more, and it's crazy. When you really break it down, the best part about CSGO skins is the fact that there is such a wide variety. Like, there is literally something for everyone. Even if there are skins that look really similar to ones that are significantly cheaper, or even skins that people think are ugly, I mean, everyone has their own tastes and opinions, and skins are the one thing that bring us all together as the Counter-Strike community, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It's Turbo, and I'm out. Peace.